Okay, so today we'll be talking about the Arabic alphabet in traditional order. The content of our lesson today is Arabic alphabet. We will go through the 28 letters. Then we will go through the positions and shapes of each letter, plus examples on each case. So we're starting with the letter Alif. Alif. Ah. Okay, it sounds in English like the A in apple. Let's go through the examples. Okay, the first position, as you see here, is the initial and the isolated position for Alif. The shape, as you see, similar. And the example here is Asad. Asad, lion. The medial position. Now keep in mind, guys, that Alif never linked to the letter that follows, even within a word. So there's no example here. And the final position for Alif, as you see, the shape. And the example here is Bab, Bab, door. Next letter, Ba, Ba, Ba. Okay, the sound here is like the B in boy. And let's go through the examples. The initial position for Ba, the shape as you see. And the example here is Bahr, Bahr, sea. The medial position, the shape as you see. And the example is Haqiba, Haqiba, bag. The final position for Ba, the shape as you see. And the example here is Qalb, Qalb, heart. The isolated position for Ba, as you see, the shape. And the example here is Harb, Harb, war. Next letter is Ta, Ta, Ta. Okay, the sound here is like the T in table. Let's go through the examples. The initial position for Ta, the shape as you see. And the example here is Tuffaha, Tuffaha, apple. The medial position, as you see the shape, and the example here is Muftah, Muftah, key. The final position, as you see the shape, example is Bayt, Bayt, home. The isolated position for Ta, as you see, when it's standing alone, and the example here is Toot, Toot, blueberry. Okay, moving to the next letter. Thaa, Thaa, Tha. Okay, the sound here is like the TH in think, like the word think. Okay, so let's go through the examples. Okay, the first initial position for Tha, as you see the shape, and the example here is Tha'lab, Tha'lab, fox. The medial position, as you see the shape, and the example here is a person name, which is Haytham, Haytham. The final position, as you see the shape, and the example here is Layth, Layth, which is lion. Just a small note that lion got different names in Arabic. As you see in the letter Alif, we said Asad, and here we said Layth. So in Arabic, the lion got different names, and those both are meaning the same, lion. The isolated position for Tha, as you see the shape, and the example here is Thalath, Thalath, three. Okay, the next letter is Jeem, Jeem, Ja. Okay, the sound here is like the G in Jordan. Okay, so let's go through the examples. The initial position for Jeem, as you see, and the example here is Jaras, Jaras, bell. The medial position for Jeem, as you see, and the example here is حجر حجر stone. The final position for Jeem, as you see, and the example here is ثلج ثلج ice. And the isolated position for Thaa, for Jeem, sorry, as you see, and the example here is برج برج tower. Okay, the next letter H.A.S. H. Okay, we'll go directly through the examples. Okay, the initial position for H, as you see, the shape, and the example here is حكمة حكمة wisdom. The medial position for H, and the example is لحم لحم meat. The final position, as you see the shape, example is ملح ملح salt. The isolated position for H when it's standing alone, as you see, and the example here is فلاح فلاح farmer. Next letter is Khaa Khaa Kha. Okay, the sound here is like the word Bach in German. The positions, the initial position for Khaa, as you see the shape, and the example is خاتم خاتم ring. The medial position for Khaa, as you see, and the example is بخيل بخيل stingy. The final position for Khaa, as you see the shape, and the example here is نسخ نسخ copy. The isolated position for Khaa when it's standing alone, as you see, and the example here is خوخ خوخ peach. Okay, moving to the next letter, which is Daal Daal Da. Okay, it sounds like the D here in dog. So let's go through the examples. The initial and the isolated position for Daal, as you see the shape is the same. So let's go through the first example. Dam dam blood. Second example is had had sharp. The medial position, again the same case, the Daal never linked to the letter that follows, so there's no examples. The final here, final position for Daal, the shape as you see, and we'll go through first example. Yad yad hand. Second example is buldan buldan countries. Next letter is Daal Daal the, and the sound here is like the th in those. Okay, we'll go through the position. The initial and the isolated position for Daal, the shape is similar as you see, and the example here is ذكي ذكي smart. The medial position is the same case of Daal, so there's no examples. And the final position for Daal, the shape as you see, example here is تلميذ تلميذ student. را را ra. Okay, the sound here, it sounds like the R in Rao. Okay, so let's go through the examples. The initial and the isolated position for Ra, as you see the shape, similar. Example here is رجل رجل man. The medial position, again Ra never linked to the letter that follows, so there is no examples. The final position for Ra, as you see, and the example here is بحر بحر sea. Okay, the next letter Zaay Zaay Z. And as you see here, the difference between Ra and Zaay, the dot. The sound here is like the Z in zoo Okay, so let's go through the examples. The initial and the isolated position for Zaay, as you see the shape, and the example here is Zuhur, Zuhur, flowers. The medial position, again the same case, there's no examples because it's never linked to the letter that follows. And the final position for Zaay, as you see the shape, and the example here is Hazeen, Hazeen, Saad. Next letter, Siin, Siin, Sa. Okay, so in English it sounds like the S in snake. Let's go through the examples. The initial position for Siin, the shape as you see, and the example here is Sahel, Sahel, easy. The medial position, the shape as you see, and the example is Jism, Jism, body. The final position for Siin as you see, and the example is Malabis, Malabis, clothes. The isolated position for Siin when it's standing alone as you see, and the example here is Ra's, Ra's, head. Okay, next letter is Shiin, Shiin, Sha. Okay, as you may notice, the difference between Siin and Shiin is 3 dots above the Shiin, and the sound here is like the CH in sheep, sheep. Okay, let's go through the examples. Okay, and I'm sorry, I think I made a mistake. It's the sound here like the SH in sheep, not the CH. Sorry, my mistake, guys. So let's go through the examples. The first position, the initial position, the shape as you see, and the example here is Shamma, Shamma, candle. The medial position as you see, and the example here is Al-Shita, Al-Shita, the winter. The final position for Shiin as you see, and the example here is Ush, Ush, meaning nest. And the isolated position for Shiin when it's standing alone, the example here Ghashash, Ghashash, cheater. Okay, moving to the next letter, Saad, Saad, Sa, Sa. Okay, and here guys you have to try a very deep S sound, and you can make it by opening your mouth wider. So let's go through the examples, it will make it easy for us. Okay, the initial position for Saad as you see, and the example here is صغير, صغير, small. The medial position as you see, and the example is بصل, بصل, onion. The final position for Saad as you see, and the example here is قميص, قميص, shirt. The isolated position for Saad when it's standing alone, and the example here is باص, باص, bus.